Welcome back to Hope Something Sticks with Bert and Matt. I'm Matt.
I'm Bert.
This is weird. We flipped it around. Normally you do the intro.
Yeah, but it's about time.
Now I get to talk. I get to talk first.
Yeah,
today's all about me, apparently. Yes, you do all the work. Yeah.
Yes. All the audio editing.
No, I did some today. I mean, look at this. We're starting right on time, an hour late again.
Yeah.
So we're talking life lessons today. We're talking how to what not to do. Should this be called episode dead end?
And in a few small cases, what to do.
That's good.
We didn't fuck up every time.
I wouldn't say. Yeah, I'd say it's like a baseline. I always like to think about, because I compare myself to my father, every minute. He is. I mean, is it enough to just be not in prison? Is that the barometer for success? To me, that's just like, okay, so you woke up and were a normal person and we're good. It seems like there's more to life than that.
Yeah, but it's a good start.
Right, a start. He's almost done. What's he pushing now? Let's see, 54 to now. He's... I can't do that math. 64 years old. He's 66 years old, excuse me. I don't know how to do math. 66 years old, and he's probably going to be working... He's going to work till the day's dead. But I think he likes it like that. He's one of those old school weirdos that wants to work forever.
I mean, as long as he's happy, like, at the end of the day, what the hell else is there?
Not sure. Hey, can you tell that ambulance to calm down?
Hey, shut the fuck up! Let him die!
I'm trying to record in here. They're probably just trying to get coffee.
Alright, it sounds like it's moving on. So it is... Man, that's what slowly... Okay, it's almost gone. Anyway.
Abusing the siren, as Larry David would say.
He would say that.
Yeah, there's a whole episode of Curb about it. But we're not here to talk about Curb Your Enthusiasm. Unless, of course, you want to learn how to be a creative writer. In which case, why are you listening to this? What was that masterclass advertisement? The biggest impediment to writing is other people. But then again, the biggest source of writing material is other people. So, unless you're a transcendentalist, you're kind of boned. My writing career never really took off. I was supposed to keep going with that in 10th grade, and then I never did. And if I had done that, if I had followed the one thing that I was actually good at in high school, then fuck it, I'm still good about it. I'm still good at it now. If I had done that more exclusively, I think that would have been a much better track. But I gave into the fear of, oh God, people will find out the truth about me. So, I took the sociopath route and tried to fit in and look like everyone else and sound like everyone else.
Could always have a pen name.
Pierre Delecto was already taken.
Yeah, well, I guess that's it.
Mitt Romney? No? You don't follow?
Mitt Romney.
Mitt Romney's pseudonym on Twitter was Pierre Delecto. And he used it to, well, basically just bash Trump.
Yeah, good for him.
I thought so. He was the only Republican senator who actually voted to convict this sumbitch.
Yeah, he really hates him. And also, he doesn't have to worry about backlash from his base. Because really, it seems like the Mormons, out of all conservative groups, are the only ones that just straight up don't like Trump. Everyone else has got on board the Trump train, except them.
Good on them. Everybody's figuring it out, though.
Yeah.
In the worst possible way.
Anyway, kind of back to the show.
Yes, the
I
topic
guess-
at hand. What to do with your stupid, worthless life. And why can't you just decide on something and do it?
So let's kind of maybe start with when you started out at UF and kind of your thought process on your major.
Oh, it's terrible.
And kind of go from there.
I can pinpoint the exact day and my exact idiotic thought process when I was in high school. And it's so fucking dumb. I'm sitting there taking the pre-SAT,
Mm-hmm.
and it asked me, it was just the filling out the bio info. Just who the hell are you? And okay, what's your major? I had put zero thought into what my major would be up until that point. Zero. And I'm looking at it, and I'm about to select architecture because I'd always loved it. And actually in 5th grade, I kind of made up my mind that was kind of what I was going to do. And then I second-guessed myself and put landscape architecture instead. So that was the exact moment.
How come?
Are you ready for this? It's kind of a bombshell. I didn't think I was good at math, and I thought that was important for being an architect. Yeah, exactly. I made that joke later on in college. And or at least I presented it as a joke later on in college, and everybody fucking laughed because that's how because it's ridiculous.
Yeah, the math is not. I wouldn't think it's particularly complicated.
It isn't.
To be an architect.
It's not even
There's
involved.
math involved.
It's zero. There's like zero. But that's one of the major things that you should do as a high school student.
Physics is involved.
Yeah, sure. It's a design major. It's, you're more of an artist than anything else.
Yeah, but if you're building something, it has to not collapse in on itself.
Yeah, that's what engineers are for.
Maybe engineers are part of the process more than I thought. Like the original planning, but I don't know.
Yeah, the actual blueprinting, sure.
Mm.
It doesn't matter. They were both bad choices. But, that's stuff you only find out in hindsight. Architects are given, what is it? It's a terrible summation. They're given twice the responsibility and half the glory of being a doctor or something along those lines. But people still respect architects. They just don't respect them as much as a doctor. And if something screws up, they always blame the I don't know. It's kind of a high and mighty kind of assessment from somebody else that I had met who was an architect. Or at least trained as an architect. I'm not sure if she ever ended up getting a job. Hey, Mickey, if you're out there and listening to this for some crazy reason, how's Detroit? She moved back. That was about 4 years ago. So anyway, that's how I went down the landscape architecture path. That's how I started down it. And man, that wasn't a good idea. Our program was a 2-year program, dual enrollment. Just some quick backstory here. It was a dual enrollment program. You got your high school diploma and your associate's degree at the same time. That was the best decision I ever made in my education. Ever. Still is. Well, yeah, still is. From a rational standpoint. And you know what? Looking back, should have stopped right there. I mean, hanging out with you, Bert, and getting to know you again, and fucking hanging out with Danny and getting to know him, and meeting Dave and Bo and everybody else. That's pretty much it. That was fantastic. I don't regret that part of it at all. But from a rational college perspective and a career perspective, I was not mature enough to go to college. I was not ready. I didn't understand what it meant to be there. Just not prepared.
Well, I think most people aren't really when they start off at 18 because that's a really huge transition going to college from high school where typically you're finally separated from your parents.
But it didn't feel like that. It felt like high school again.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, no. I wasn't taking the right classes, I don't think. Now, that's a huge thing about it, too, is networking. I didn't socialize enough. I didn't talk to enough people. And if I had talked to a single person, one, and had mentioned that landscape architecture story, they would have called me a fucking idiot, appropriately, and set me straight. But yeah, sat on that one.
Yeah, I think that's pretty sound advice to kind of, talk to people about, what your career decisions are going to be.
Talk to them about anything. Talk to them about everything. Everybody has the same stupid fucking thoughts and fears and reservations, and it's all fucking facade. 90% of everybody doesn't know what they're doing, so just talk to them. Oh, you don't know what you're doing either? Alright, fantastic. That's why Reddit is just fantastic. I was looking at the Ask Reddit page, it's just cracking up. Oh, man. Yeah, we can have a whole podcast on what I find on Reddit.
Maybe we will. Maybe that's what the podcast will turn into.
Us just on Ask Reddit, just reading various posts. I was looking at autopsy reports, like the weirdest autopsy reports. That's where I was this morning. All right, I know everybody's just dying to know. Oh man, what's Matt looking at on the shitter? That's it. That's what I was looking at. Ugh. Alligators coming back to life. People getting shot in the head. Weird stuff. Anyway, back to college.
Yeah.
We should have called this podcast Sidewinder.
I think that was thrown in there. But,
during the brainstorming sessions? The sessions we agreed we weren't going to talk about.
I don't recall that part. Anyway.
You gotta add some mystery, man. They don't know what the fuck we were talking about. God. Work with me here.
I'll cut that part out. So I remember... So we started rooming together our second year in college.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what the hell you were doing before that besides hanging out with a guy who loved Full House.
I wouldn't call that hanging out. We were just both in the same room all the time. It was weird.
Yeah, it was your roommate.
We were both just imagine two people facing their computers the entire time. We invented social isolation, by the way. Myself and Dave. The first Dave. He's Dave 1.
No, Diver Dave is Dave 2.
Doubtful. Actually, you know what? I think he might be the second Dave I've ever met. After that, it was just an avalanche of Daves, it felt like. Then there was Conspiracy Dave, and there was Manager Dave.
That's actually not your second Dave you ever met. You met my dad before David.
Oh, duh. Yeah.
In UF, yeah. Anyway, so the point I was making was I remember talking to you about your major and about your classes and how you had the utmost contempt for pretty much everyone there, from students to teachers, and really was half-assing your projects.
Anger was a big part of who I was back then.
And I remember that one in particular, like there was supposed to be like this project you were working on. It was it's still an abstract model made from like construction paper, basically, or poster board paper or whatever it was.
Okay.
And you just kind of sort of working on it every once in a while until it was like due in like 2 days, and then you just had it out in the living room.
Right.
Just furiously working on it.
Yep. Gotta make these toothpicks mean something. Speak to me. Why don't you speak to me? Yeah, the whole concept of, going from, I mean, I'm looking back on it like, I should have just stopped and took advantage of the amazing tool at your disposal in college, which is the withdraw option. You can always run away from this dumb shit. You're paying money. Stop paying money and do something else. And pay money for that. No, I'm sitting here with these... Oh my god. They call it architorture for a reason. Oh my god. Because we're in the same design classes with architecture students and the very fine ladies of the interior design department. They're not all... it's not an exclusive female club, but... it's interior design. It's almost 99% sorority chicks. Nothing against them.
We're just there.
They were just there, yeah. We actually shared a design studio with them. God damn it, they were hot.
My major was psychology, and that was predominantly women too. So a few sorority chicks.
Huh.
But anyway.
I wouldn't think that would be predominantly anything. I would have guessed an even split.
No, it was mostly women in psychology. But also, I mean, it was the case in our college and most colleges that there's more women than men in college now. I think that when we were there, I think the split was 60-40, at least when we were in college.
Didn't take advantage of that one.
No.
Oh, God. We could talk about my abysmal sex life any other time.
Yeah, that's not the title of this episode.
No. Yeah, well, if we were going back to the career thing, yeah, I think sex work would have been a much more, a much better option for me. Yeah, much more, at least that, would have gained a little bit more confidence. Maybe would have inspired me to...
Much more glamorous.
Yeah, I suppose. Maybe it would have inspired me to work out a little bit more. Or at all. Yeah, at all is the operative term there.
How about you kind of take us to basically what landed you out of landscape architecture?
Failure. You want to fast forward to the... so 2 years is what I struggled with. I think we were talking about the withdrawal option. 2 years I went for it. I was like, okay. And I just, lollygagged through it. Okay, I'm getting okay grades. It's not like I was failing my classwork. And I'm just going through it the same way. This is why it felt like high school to me, because I treated it like high school, which was not socializing with anybody other than you and, my immediate circle, the people immediately around me, the people I lived with. And, it just showed. It showed in my work, and getting to upper division of landscape architecture required selection, required approval. So it was another admissions process. And, my teacher, one teacher actually warned me, actually straight up had a meeting with me and said, not in as many words, or actually, it was a longer meeting. You don't belong here, was the theme of that meeting. What are you doing? What are you doing here? I'm looking at your work, I'm not seeing it. And if she had said that a little bit more forcefully, I would have gotten the memo. But I was in such shock when I had heard that, because nobody had ever really challenged me at all in terms of my work. Fuck, Florida public schools. Who gives a shit? Alright, you turned in your paper. Alright, it was okay. Alright, get out of here. This isn't term papers. This is design work. And it's abstract whatever. And just because it's abstract, all you had to do was copy all the other weird abstract crap that everybody else was doing. But my heart wasn't in it, so I didn't try. And it was obvious that I was barely trying. And that was the first little warning sign. That was like the only warning sign I ever got. So I tried. Kind of. And I cracked my head on the ceiling there. And it didn't work out. They looked at my score for, I don't know, they score, how do you get in? You make a giant poster board with all of your work. You basically are supposed to design a portfolio, and that portfolio is this giant poster board. It's like 4 foot by 8 foot, and it's snapshots, it's models, it's a collection of you for the past 2 years of all your classes and the best that you have to offer. And what I had to offer wasn't good enough. And then came the next 2 years. Because they had an alternate. They had an alternate plan, and it was the worst decision I ever made. Because that led me to the... Are you ready for it? I'm going to say the whole title of what it was. The Bachelor of Science in Sustainability and the Built Environment. I say it again for the cheap seats. The Bachelor of Science in Sustainability and the Built Environment.
I would say your next big college decision was your worst.
Oh, yeah. Money-wise, absolutely. Graduate school, Jesus.
Yeah. But yeah, let's stick with sustainability.
Oh my god. What a fucking identity crisis that caused.
Yeah, I mean, was that like your only really viable option at that point?
No.
You were a junior.
I could have had the world. It was my option. I could have done anything else, and I should have. But I was in such a state of shock at having failed for the first time that, and I was still so full of myself that I couldn't recognize that I wasn't trying, and that was the reason I had failed, not, you're so fucking hot. I don't fucking know. It was I was a fucking idiot. The thought process was terrible. And non-existent. I was just in shock that I didn't know what to do. And what I should have done was what I ended up doing about 4 years later. Sitting down and actually fucking thinking for 5 minutes, doing some research using that fucking internet thing, and actually seeing what it took to become something. Like, actually have a title. Because that's what I mean by having an identity crisis. I didn't know having a general degree is the worst possible thing you can do for yourself if you're not exploring different options, if you're not actually getting out and doing that networking thing and trying different classes and then just withdrawing from them, talking to people, finding out what they do. More importantly, finding out what it takes to be something and actually have a skill.
And did you ever try going to the Career Resource Center?
Oh, those worthless assholes. That's like all guidance counselors deserve to be shot. Have they ever helped? Has a single one ever helped anybody?
I'm not talking about the guidance counselors.
They are guidance counselors.
The career. So you did go to the actual
Career Resource Center? I went there after I graduated, and all they do is hook you up with. There's supposed to be resume stuff and interview thing and interview help.
Yeah.
Who the hell went there? I went there after I graduated, with the Bachelor of Science. Because that's all. I mean, all it was a general degree. Let me just summarize it that way. It might as well have been an English degree, except I did less reading. So I go there, and since I was part of the inaugural class for that major, so nobody knew. This is 2010. Nobody knew what the fucking word sustainability meant. They had never even heard it. It was not as common as it is now. Every fucking company has a sustainability mission statement. Every one of them. Because it's a fun term. It's called greenwashing. They're not actually doing anything. They're just saying they're committed to it, whatever the fuck that means. It's just self-regulated standards that they can set themselves. The only thing that will bring about real change is you asking them for green products. That's it. There's sustainability in a nutshell. But yeah, as far as the Career Resource Center goes, or any guidance counselor for that matter, they're all fucking worthless. When I first got there, I didn't know what courses to take in terms of landscape architecture. And I can still remember, that guidance counselor's name was Dave too. That fuck.
A mixed bag with Dave.
Oh my god, yeah. Weird. And he told me to take whatever I want. Dude, I need guidance and counseling. I need help. And you're telling me to do whatever I want? He should have told me to join the fucking army. So you weren't gonna do that. At least it would have been something for me to consider or say no to, as opposed to do whatever I want. Like, okay, I guess I'm the one in charge here, so all the decisions I make are correct. There's no wrong answers. Wrong. There are wrong answers. Sustainability built environment was one of them. But of course, that could have been better. I'm not going to put it all. It was my decision. It was my life. I'm not blaming anybody else for me not trying. But guidance counselors, scum of the earth. I hope there's at least one listening. Change your life. Go buy a horse. Go live out on a fucking mountain, dickhead. Did you ever get help from the Career Resource Center?
A little bit. I kind of wish I went more. I think they'd probably be a lot better help to me than you, especially, getting a business degree.
Mm-hmm.
I think they probably have a much better idea what the hell I should be doing as opposed to sustainability in the built environment, which they probably didn't know what the fuck that was.
He didn't, no.
Yeah.
If I had gone 2 years ago...
It was brand new.
Yeah, if I had gone in 2008, then I would have been able to find out, oh, this isn't even a thing, it doesn't even exist. I thought that everybody knew about, green development and sustainable development and LEED certifications, and I just assumed, because I was living in that bubble world in the architecture building where we all know what the hell it was and what was coming, but the rest of the world was not there yet, was not ready to receive people with this education, unless you knew how to do something. And I didn't know how to design anything, and I'm not an engineer. It's just a glorified English degree. If I had become a PR representative, I suppose that would have been maybe something. So yeah, after I graduate, the guy's looking at Monster.com. He's right there in real time trying to figure out what the hell my major is and if there are jobs available for it. So 2 years ago, I should have conducted that same search, and then I would have been able to tell the people offering this degree as a potential fallback plan to take their stupid degree and shove it, because I'm gonna go become a welder.
All right, so you finished your degree in sustainability.
Yeah. Top of the world,
yeah,
Ma.
So, yeah. And then, so what was your thought process for the graduate degree you eventually try to go for?
Well, Monster.com doesn't have anything for me, right? And then, we're not getting paid by Monster, by the way. You can edit that out. Just fill in job placement, nojobaforyou.com. How about that?
It sounds like extra work. So.
Well, you are all about doing all the work, so here's some more. Didn't see any jobs. And this is 2010, the economy's in the shitter. So, yeah, my brain just immediately went to, well, stay in school. This is what I know how to do. I know how to go to class. I know how to file for financial aid very well. If anything, that's the skill I learned, was how to fill out my taxes. Was how to badger my stepfather to do his taxes, because he was still claiming me as a dependent, and I needed the IRS they needed their tax returns immediately for financial aid, and if we got ours in first, it was first come, first serve. That's how financial aid works. So the second we get our taxes in, the second he gets his forms, I was hounding him for it. And so the money was always there. And so I saw graduate school as it's more free money, because I was seeing the loans as free money. Ugh, God, idiot. Yeah. Oh, man, this guy's screwing up. Hey, Linda, come here and listen to this idiot. This fucking dumbass thought that a loan was free money. Hey.
Apparently he's never been kneecapped by the bank.
Yeah, right? Well, that's the thing, is that student loans are, in my family, they're like hereditary. Every one in my family has them, and they never go away. It's like it's just like gonorrhea. It's like we're all a bunch of syphilitic, gross, disease-infested debt creatures, just hauling around giant links of debt. Like, hey baby, look how attractive I am. financially insecure. Yeah. So, filing for debt, easy. And then I went and treated credit cards the same goddamn way.
So, why did you decide on urban planning for your major?
Oh, that's easy. SimCity. I mean, you think that's funny, but every urban planner, guaranteed, has played that game. And I found that out after they might have been about a year and a half into the program. There was a focus group because the UF was trying to get their online degree program going up for urban planning. And the focus group asked that same question. How did everybody find out about urban planning and what was your major interest? And every single person in the group, none of us had even realized this because none of us had ever asked each other that question. And we all raised our hands and we're all looking at each other like, holy shit, what the hell? And every one of us had played SimCity. So it's, we're all megalomaniacs. We want to control our own little empires and tell everybody where to go and where to drive. For some reason, that was very soothing as a kid. What was the other one? As opposed to SimCity, that was the modern version. There was the Caesar 3. That was a good one. Oh, man. I spent so many hours playing that damn game. Whew. Hours and hours and hours. Great game. But that was it. It seemed like a natural fit. And I was actually happy studying urban planning for a bit. Until my last semester. When I realized, oh my god, I have to get a job. And oh my god, I have no work experience. Because I never got an internship. Like an idiot. So, if there is anybody trying to use this, oh my god, get a job immediately. Get an internship somewhere. Of course, we have to... go ahead.
That wasn't really easy for most people to get internships because the economy was still doing so
yes,
bad.
Yes, my sentiments, I was just about to say the same damn thing. It was terrible. Nothing. No one. Not a goddamn thing. Not even free internships where you just slave labor. They wouldn't even take you in the door. Nothing. I looked back at after I met up with one of the old landscape architecture guys. I ran into him and I was asking, how's everybody doing? How's everybody faring? And one guy out of a class of about 40. One. And he was the best guy in the class. He was some Chinese kid. He's the only one that got an internship at a design firm.
Wow.
Yeah, landscape architecture got hit hard. Because landscape architecture, 2006, when I started, 2006, that's the peak of the housing bubble. Landscape architecture was one of the top jobs in the country in terms of growth. Right. And as an 18-year-old, I'm like, well, according to this line graph of job prospects, apparently it just goes up and just keeps going up forever. Wrong. Of course, that didn't matter because I got kicked out of that program. So, if anything, I kind of dodged a bullet on that one. I've lost the vein. What were we talking about? Job prospects. Urban planning, internship. Didn't get one. Then it went tits up in the last semester because... What was that? I had planned out my education a little bit shittily, so I took a course that was really meant to be an introductory course, but I ended up taking it last. I don't know, for whatever reason, it just didn't. I don't know, I wasn't paying attention to how to fucking plan this shit. Once again, pick your own courses, do whatever you want. Okay, throw this dumbass course at the end, because what the hell, it's just a dumb introductory course that I'm apparently required to pay $1,200 for. Ugh, God. But anyway, that was the one. Because then I got to actually meet some urban planners. This goes back to, at the beginning of your career, meet and talk to professionals in the field you would want to be in. This seems so fucking obvious now, but Oh my god. To an introvert, it's the toughest thing in the world. It's just opening up your pie hole and just letting the words out. Just talk to them. That's when I actually did talk to them, because they were presenters. Every week we had a new person from in the field with experience. Old ones, new ones, city planners, consultants, everybody. All whole spectrum. It was a great class. I ended up pissing off that professor. Because I didn't, he could tell that I was just burned out by that point, and I was done, and I didn't give a shit. Because, at this point I was drinking quite heavily. I could say I was depressed, but that'd be a self-diagnosis. A normal, rational person would look at that person and say, wow, this guy either really likes beer, or he's just a depressed piece of shit who never figured out what the fuck he wants to do with his life. And now he's crying it.
Could be both.
Yeah.
You do really like beer.
I do love beer. God. I'm not like Kavanaugh level liking beer, but...
Yeah. No.
Every time I want to smile, I just replay Brett Kavanaugh's testimony. I like beer. I still like beer. Oh my god. Supreme Court Justice, ladies and gentlemen. I like beer. Get the fuck out of here.
No, he's not. Until he dies in 40 years.
Or until he feels like quitting and starting his own law firm or some shit. That's what Kennedy's doing.
Nope.
Kennedy did it. Kennedy left. He just left, and I think you should be chained to the bench. If it's a lifetime appointment, it's a lifetime appointment. Meaning you can't ever leave. You gotta decide the rules for us forever.
That's the thing. If it's just not in you anymore, then you probably shouldn't be. It's like, I just don't care.
It should be a revolving door. And they should just pick random people. Like, nope, now's your mandatory 2-year term. Oh! That's what I'm a favor of. Not a military draft, but a public service draft, where you become the representative for your area. We need to do away with this whole I have to choose these assholes, because I'm not really choosing them anyway. It's like, fuck it. We'll just put everybody's name in the country in a hat, and just start picking names. And if you totally fucking suck, we'll just boot your ass out after a month. Like, alright, Johnny clearly wasn't feeling it. Like, okay, this guy's IQ is less than... This is less than 90 or something. I don't know. What's a low IQ number? I don't pay attention to those.
That's pretty low.
I was going to say 100, but I was like, is that too high? Is 100 normal? Is 100 average?
I think it's about average. I mean, it's not good.
Your University of Florida bachelor graduate, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what a good IQ number is. Let's say, give me 1,000. How's 1,000 sound? It's a good number.
People don't really put as much stock into IQ scores as they used to.
Yeah, it's a stupid... Yeah, standardized testing it's about to go out the window. Antiquated system. But, to get back to the point, sorry about that. That last class, with all the industry experts, they're showing up. Every one of them had something in common. You know how I was saying, some are private, some are public, most of them were government workers. Some were young, some were old, some were recent graduates. Some were graduates were alumnus. Every one of them in common had the one trait. They were all thoroughly depressed. And every one of them gave a dispirited presentation. Every one of them. And even the professor at one point kind of acknowledged. She's like, wow, this kind of turned into a really depressing kind of thing. Like, yeah. And so it completely, that was it. That was the final nail in the coffin. There were many other nails, most of them nailed by myself, with the whole not trying thing, the whole not being able to get an internship thing, so I had no experience, so I didn't really have a future in this field. And it all led to the burnout, which was, and by burnout I mean dropping out, because I didn't finish my thesis. So no thesis, no diploma.
I remember you were kind of really struggling with that.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. It's fucking thoroughly embarrassing. I didn't understand the concept of how research led to a thesis. Oh, God. Then while I was there were professors who were bailing, that were leaving the department. So, it was sad. A bunch of stuff that was just leading to me being like, why the fuck am I even bothering with this major if it's just gonna bum me the fuck out anyway? Why even accomplish it? And the moral of that story is, so that you have a degree, dumbass. It's like, you're this close. Even the secretary, she recognized me because it's a small program. And I'm like, well, sorry, Ella, I'm not gonna be here. And she's like, no. That's the one major thing that I regret, was bumming her out when I told her, telling my family members, telling everybody else, telling you. I didn't. Whatever. I could deal with that. I still feel bad for making Ella feel bad. I still remember her face. You're so close. Like, well, when you put it that way. Yeah. But it had to happen, and it did. So long, farewell. Enjoy your nervous breakdown.
Yeah, but from there, found a new path. So take us, like, how you found welding and
I did.
That whole path.
I did research. I actually sat down and I said, I actually, the day that I sent the email to my professor saying, I'm done here and I'm not doing this, easily, it's like 06, 08 championships, and then that. Just ethereal. Just this weight is off my shoulders. I had made a decision to stop doing harm to myself by forcing myself to struggle through this dumb shit. And I should have done it 2 years earlier. So that was the first step, is just quitting and telling him, I'm out, guys. I'm done. Can't do it anymore. And I couldn't stop laughing. I think I laughed to myself for like 15 minutes. It was insane. It's like a fucking crazy, maybe not 15 minutes. It's like a crazy person, but yeah, right. Some maniacal laughter just going to the heavens. Bow and kneel before me. You know that clip I always send every time I'm happy, of Chris Farley over the skunks.
The birds.
Now in the land of the the land of the skunks, the man with half a nose is king. Oh God, yeah. Give me a solid 2 minutes of that. Very, very happy. Very happy time. And I think, it was actually your brother. I told Avi first that I wasn't that I was done with this shit. I told him first, and before I sent the email, and that was, that gave me the extra strength to just be like, holy shit, I just said this out loud. Holy shit, it felt good to say that. It felt really good. I should have said.
At this point in time, for our listeners, myself, Matt, and my brother, Avi, we're all living together in Gainesville.
Yes. We had finally moved off campus. And we had been living there for at least 2-3 years? 2 years? Year and a half?
I think
No, it was less.
I thought it was like, let's
11? Because we were there for 3 years, till 14.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I came back for the job, and that lasted exactly a year. I think more than a year. I want to say it was 2.5 years, maybe not, I think it was almost 2 years. I think that's what it was.
Well, anyway, we were there that was early on at the Oxford Manor days. It was a fun apartment. It was good. It was a good times there. So anyway, that was the first kickstart, first little bit of gas in me changing my stars, going somewhere else, doing something else. So I did that. Fucking told Avi. Avi was like, okay. No, he was. I mean, he appreciated the gravity of a decision like that, and supportive and understanding and super. Realize how important that is and how huge that is. I mean, it fucking. I always say this, but it helped me save my life. Because it fucking did. It could have gone. When people drop out, life can go sideways really fucking quick. So that gave me the first juice to then send the email. Then there was the 2 to 15 minutes of maniacal laughter. We'll determine that later. And then came all right, Matt, now what? And I just started, I took a step back. I said, I'm not doing this fucking university shit. Clearly I wasn't ready for graduate school. I needed, what is the cheapest, most logical option? And I should wind up backwards, back before I told Avi. I did do research on how to finish my degree without doing a thesis. That was actually my first thought process, was I'm not finishing this fucking degree. It's not going to happen. I mean, obviously. I'll give everybody a little time scale here. My thesis was due in like October or something like that, and I'm having this thought process in like August. So if you're trying to start a thesis and you're only giving yourself 2 months of runway, you boned. All right.
Yeah, all right.
Oh god. So I had begun the process of how do I transfer my credits? How do I make this work? Then it became, do I even want this to work? Why am I even trying to salvage any of this shit? And right there, that was the bad turn. I should have finished the degree. I could have. I actually went and contacted FAU. How's that for funny? Oh, a little side note there, people. Avi ended up going to medical school at FAU. And
the inaugural class at FAU.
No shit. That's awesome.
I believe that is correct. Actually, no, it wasn't the inaugural. So it wasn't the inaugural class. It was when a university starts a med school, they're actually not technically accredited. They have to go through an accreditation process.
Okay. And
that takes years. Like, people will graduate without the college being accredited. I think he was in the first class that was where FAU was accredited and ranked med school wise, which is very helpful for the med students.
Right.
So he wasn't part of the inaugural class. He was kind of close, but he was part of the first class that had accreditation for the school.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, still pretty early on.
Gotcha. So yeah, fun stuff at FAU. So I looked into that. I had emailed them. And then I took the other turn. I said, fuck this degree. Fuck this whole urban planning thing. Everybody's depressed and it sucks anyway. It takes 40 years to get anything done. Blow me. So I took a step back. I said, alright, fuck graduate school altogether. Do I want another bachelor's degree? And then I said, no. So then I took an even further step back. I said, what the hell do you want to do, Matt? And it came back to that. I had mentioned the identity crisis with sustainability and not knowing how to do a thing. Urban planning helped with that a little bit. Because I got to say, when you're doing small talk, that's really what it was. It was nothing but small talk conversations where I'm saying, my degree is sustainability in the built environment. It's this huge goddamn mouth word salad thing that nobody knows what the hell it is. Then you spend the next 20 minutes explaining what the fuck you are. Like, all right. And I didn't want that. I needed something succinct. I needed something that instantaneously somebody had an idea of what the fuck it was. And urban planning helped a little bit with that, but I found it was the same conversation thing. Like, oh, urban planning. What is that? Like, what the... It's in the name. I plan. Urbanly. So... I just started... How do I do something with my hands? And that's what I got back to. People who work with their hands, tradesmen, craftsmen, they are a thing, and they do something, and what they make is materialized and manifest before you. And that became paramount, and it just built. It snowballed. It snowballed into, holy shit, let's do this. This is gonna fucking happen. And I started the research again. I actually did some internet research, and since I had taken a step back from the bachelor's degree thing, because it didn't really make any sense to me that, okay, I'm gonna spend another 4 years to figure out how to do something with my hands. I said, no, I need money now. I need something. It's gotta be quicker than that. So what's quicker than that? Take a step further back, Matt. Associate's degree. Okay. Associate's degree in what? So who gives associate's degrees right here in town? Santa Fe College. And Santa Fe College is partly associate's degrees, and they have also vocational degrees. And those vocational degrees are where I found what I wanted, and that was welding. And I found welding to be an enormous wait list. This wait list was, they told me it was almost 6 months. Next semester. I had applied at the end of October or so, right around the time when I had my almost nervous breakdown, and also I was smiling ear to ear after I sent that email that I was talking about.
Right.
Eat my ass, shithills. I'm out of here. Then I, immediately after that fun moment, 10 seconds later, I'm like, oh wait, not only do I have to tell my family about this, which I didn't have to, but I did, which was traumatic in and of itself. 6-month wait list next semester. I immediately applied. I just said, go ahead, throw me on there. Not even a month goes by, and he's like, hey, you ready to start? If you're ready to start, we got a spot for you. I'm like, hell yeah, throw me on. He said night classes. It's going to be, I don't even remember what it was. I think it was about 3-hour classes 2 times a week. He said, go ahead, do it. And that was my first start off. It was just part-time. And that was in spring, and that was when it started. It was spring of 2013. And there was a huge drop-off, too. It kept going. It went from that 6-month wait list. That should have told me something right there. Should have been a red flag. But what the hell are you getting yourself into that all these people are quitting so hard? That it goes from a 6-month wait list to a go-ahead start at part-time to I'm full-time by that summer. Full-time being I'm there for 6+ hours a day. And we started with 50 people. And we were down to a dozen by the end of the class. By the time I finished, I should say, about 1.5 years later.
So what do you think the reason for the drop-off was, from the waiting list to the actual class?
It's fucking boring. First couple of weeks, all they do is say safety stuff. 2 weeks of nothing but safety primers and wear your safety glasses and here's your gloves, and which is ironic because they didn't even tell us to wear ear protection, and it's loud as hell in there because there's people grinding using angle grinders. These things are going 4,000 RPM and hitting mild steel. It's not a pleasant noise. But still, that first 2 weeks, it was boring as shit. People thought they were going to get their hands on the stuff.
Thought they were just going to get a plasma cutter right away?
Plasma cutter and a welder. Yeah, they thought they were going to be able to get their hands on it and immediately start working on it. Nope. Mm-hmm. They stopped you short, and they made sense. And also, it was scary as shit. I remember the first day. Yeah. We started doing stuff. He was doing the main teacher. He was doing a demo, and this is during the night classes. And the typical people you get in a night class are part timers. Everybody has a day job. So everybody's just thinking that they're going to get out of this day job and they're going to do this. And that's when you find out why most people stick with their day jobs that suck and are easy. Because the second they see actual work and actual sparks flying at them, they run away. Run away from the fire. Run away from the sparks and the danger and the other shit. And I remember seeing a massive pile of dishes at my awesome day job that I had at my semi-Mexican restaurant. And I took a picture of those dishes and told myself, you're never doing this again. And if you fuck this up, you're doing this again. So, eat some sparks, motherfucker. The teacher was like, first day, he's like, this is welding. You will get burned. Not you might get burned, not that you might scare you a little bit. No, the sparks are going to hit you, and they are going to burn into your flesh, and you are going to realize that man is made of nothing more than roast beef.
Is that what he said?
No, I smelled my own flesh burning once. It smells like roast beef. Yeah. I worked at a Mexican restaurant. It was alright. Some of the people were cool. Most of the people were dicks. It was a typical college restaurant job. It sucked.
Yeah, I remember Tijuana Flats. With Tijuana Flats, which they made it down to South Florida too.
They're all over Florida. Yeah, they're a huge thing.
Yeah, they have like a whole hot sauce bar,
right.
And they kind of just use that to make up for their bland fucking food.
Yeah, yeah. Not to say the least, it was not made with love. It was one step above Taco Bell and one step below Olive Garden, which we were right next to.
Yeah.
That's where we got our overflow. That's where we got all of our business from. You know what? I'm going to live a little bit. Oh wait, I'm not going to live that much. That was Tijuana Flats. But I got in good shape going to do welding. That was an awesome little side effect. Didn't feel like it at the time. I thought I was going to die after the first day because I was biking 7 miles one way, so about 14 miles roughly round trip from where we were living on Archer fucking Road all the way up to Santa Fe. Yeah.
Yeah, that's when you got into really good shape.
I did.
Kind of kind of the turn between how good a shape I was and how good a shape you were, because I had a car at that time and well, pretty much never biked again.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, man. 2 hours of biking a day, ish.
Yeah, that'll do it. And not doing any biking or exercise at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Definitely puts you in the path the other direction. Remember back when we were in college, when it was the other way around.
Yeah. Yeah.
We went for the jog.
Oh my god.
At Ben Hill Griffin Stadium.
Oh my.
And man, was I an asshole. Really gloating.
It was all right. No, it was fine. It was deserved, you know.
I suppose, but probably didn't have to like running back pedal up the spiraling slope.
The spiraling.
There we go. Got it.
There it is. Yeah, sure. Yeah, those. Dude, I don't remember that. My life was passing before my eyes. I was so out of it. That wasn't even the worst that it ever was for me being out of shape. When I first got to UF, it was even worse. I couldn't run for.
It would have been.
My cardio was gone. I'd never moved at all. I felt like I was having a heart attack because I played a little bit of Ultimate when I was a freshman. And a little bit is like 5 minutes. I played like 5 minutes of Ultimate, and I felt like my heart was cashing in on itself. I couldn't fucking breathe. It was bad.
So kind of get back on topic. So, in welding school, you got burned. You smell like roast beef.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I discovered my love for man flesh.
Right. And so, kind of take us through sort of the end of the program.
Well, they They didn't specify anything. I know it ended up starting out as I really wanted to do aluminum stuff. I didn't know what I wanted to do when I first got there doing welding. I was very naive, which was fine for me. The whole overview of the program is essentially it's a waste of time if you want to get into welding. you can you could spend $200 and get yourself a certification from any AWS certified facility. Knock your socks off. It doesn't really matter because the job site you end up going to, they're going to test you anyway to see what you know. And by test you, they're going to put a welder in your hands, then they're going to put some steel in front of you and say, do. And then they will x-ray that do that you did. And if it comes through with no porosity and all the other fun stuff, and it actually holds together, and they bend it, and wow, look at that. We put 30,000 pounds of pressure on this, and it didn't crack. Not even a little bit. Like, at all. Hey, look at that. That's a pretty good weld. If you've got a golden arm, you can just go and start welding. Knock your socks off. But I had no experience, as I could barely run up a spiral staircase. So it was very important for me. I needed it. I needed to get grounded in some kind of hands-on training. And it would have been nice if that was available in high school. But, yeah, that was not necessarily available to me. And the overview of the program, it was, yeah, really. You know, there's no such thing as a shop program anymore. There wasn't a shop program back then. That was 15 years ago. Yep. But the whole program itself was just generic, but it ended with an AWS, that's American Welding Society, for all you people not in the know, pipe certification. I ended up nailing it.
Kind of seemed to be knocking it, but you did get a job as a welder afterwards.
True, and they wouldn't have even considered me.
Nah, and also in you basically just completely picked up, went to a different state, and applied for a job and got one, which is not the easiest thing to do. Didn't you get a job before you technically moved?
I had with all my jobs, as always, now in hindsight that I look, I was merely lucky. Yes, I technically had a job. Wait, hang on. Yeah, I did have a job lined up because we had gone up there. You and I both visited at one point. Remember, it was that spring of 14, and that's when I did my test up there. I went to the fabrication shop to show my face, do the application in person, do the interview in person, and do their homemade test, see if I know basic math. do some welding, put some stuff together, like, okay, this guy has, he's not completely idiotic. But as with all things, in hindsight, it's, if you want a job in something, it's just timing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, can you put a sentence together? And also, do you know a little bit? Okay. And also, do we need a warm body immediately? That was more important than anything else. That's how I got my current job, shit. But yeah, cold email people. Just shoot them out there. Don't have to go to a job site or a job website.
All right. Well, I think that it's kind of the end of your formal schooling. I think kind of go into your career path in another episode. I think we're good for now.
Yeah, I think if anybody wants to, by all means. You got that email, right?
Yeah. If anyone wants to write in with feedback, questions, we'll, once we get some, we'll read them out during the episode so you guys can hear our answers to whatever you guys have to say at hopesomethingsticks@gmail.com. And you can find us most places podcasts are, also on YouTube. And, yeah.
Absolutely. Get out there, meatbags. Get off your asses. Go do something. Stop listening to this shit.
Unless there's another episode to listen to, and then listen to this shit.
By all means, yeah. If you're in the middle of some sort of a depression, and you have to stare at the ceiling for another 7 hours, tuck in. Gets dirty.
Yep. If you got nothing to do, listen to our Game of Thrones deep dives. They're pretty lengthy.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys later.
Peace.